Greetings. I thought I'd share a little video about the power of reference photos and using photos from the internet, particularly when you're modeling products, but for everything. The reason I say products is often product photography is the most sort of austere photo experience you can find. So photos of products tend to be very well lit. They have very clean, almost probably pure white backgrounds, not a lot of shadow, not too wild of angles. And so they're really nice ways to think about an object that you want to model. And so one of the places I often go if I'm trying to think about modeling an object is this website called Design Within Reach. Ironically, things there are pretty expensive, so I always call it design just out of reach. But here's a $75 pepper mill, for example. But what's cool about DWR is a lot of the products there have a very kind of modernist or contemporary look and feel, and so you're going to see a lot of products that have not a lot of ornamentation on them and are using fairly simple, elegant, primitive shapes like spheres and cylinders, just like this pepper mill is here. So I thought we could start with this pepper mill. It's a pretty fun shape to model. It's not too difficult. And we can talk about how product photography can really help us think about modeling something like this. So one of the things you can do with a site like this, right, is take a screenshot of the products. And I've already done that, but I thought I'd just share, it's do something like Shift Command 4, get yourself a nice shot of the product. And I already have some of those in my folder here. I've got one I call it Salt Shaker, but actually it's Pepper Mill. Pardon me. So that's the best one probably. And then we've got one here that it's like on a table. And DWR has some nice kind of in situ photos that have placemats and other things around some of the products. And also one of the things that's cool is DWR has things like dimensions listed, because interior decorators, designers, and homeownery people who like cool objects, kind of want to know what the shape is. So right here, we're already getting a good sort of sense of dimensions here, and you can even get some detailed dimensions off there if you want. So again, DWR, great reference site for modeling. So let's go ahead and go to Blender. And Blender has this really cool new-ish feature that you may have not ever used before. If you do Shift A, you can see it in here. Now, mesh is something you've done before, probably a lot of. But if you go to image, you can see there's a reference image that you can add in here. So, but before we do that, actually, I'll do it right now, just so you can see a little wonky thing that it is. So if you go to reference image, and we pick, where did I put that? There we go. It's in here, but watch what happens. Because our viewport is at an angle, it places it at that angle, and that's not so great for us. Now we could go in and just clean up the angle. Do you see the rotation here is all out of whack? But another thing, easier thing to probably do is just say nope, and then go ahead and use the gizmo to line right up on the Y. And now do Shift A, image, reference, Salt Shaker Best, and there it is, and it's in there nice and square. Now, a couple things. One is it put it right on dead center at our 0, 0, 0 point, which is fine. But what we want to do is probably move it back a bit, because we're going to probably work on our model right here, and we don't want it to be right straight in the middle. We could do that, but I think for me, I always kind of back it up and put it in the back. So let's go ahead and move that over. So it's just off our model a bit, even though we're going to probably swap out this primitive. It's fine. Okay, the other thing is you'll see is the image is centered, and what we really want is the base of this pepper mill to be right on our x-axis. And fortunately, let me turn off this cube here. Boop. Okay. Fortunately, we have this crosshair here, so what we can do is we can say G and then move it on the z-axis, and then set the base of our pepper mill right there on the center line. And we know now we have the peppermill positioned right where we might have a table. Now, one thing you're going to notice, do you see how this has a curved bottom on it? That means the image wasn't shot completely square, right? It's tilted a little bit, it's a little bit high. That's why we're getting some of this edge up here, and we're getting this curving here. It's not flat, and that's fine. We're just really trying to get, again, use this as a reference image. We're not using this as a blueprint or anything like that. So, okay, so now let's go ahead and add ourselves in a cylinder just for fun. And now you can see our cylinder looks nothing like the cylinder we want, but that's just fine. First thing we probably want to do is scale the cylinder down. And let's go ahead and actually get right back up on the Y again. Oh, and I scaled it too small, see? But we can scale it back up, no big deal. And now we know our scale is looking really good. So next thing we want to do, right, is we want to move it up. So that's real straightforward. We're going to move it up. And remember now, because we lined up our right on the crosshairs before, we're lined up right on the crosshairs here. Now all we really need to do is just extrude this up. Actually here, what I'll do is I'll go into edit mode and go right back on the Y again, extrude on my Z axis, and there we go. And now we have gotten pretty far down the road for creating the sort of basic shape of this peppermill with a basic cylinder. There's lots more to do here to make it look good, but this is a really great way to use a reference image to help us out. Now, one thing you'll notice, if you do this, you can't see the model anymore. But what you can do is you can go ahead and click on the image. Notice you'll say it's called empty here, which is a little bit misleading, but you'll see the image icon here. Let's go look at our image. Let me get out of edit mode, back in object mode, and click on our image, and we're going to see over here we've got object data properties for the image. This changed in, I think, Blender 2.9. There's an opacity checkbox here. It used to be called alpha or something like that. I can't remember. But go ahead and check it. And now if you pull the opacity down, you can start to see the model through. Let me line right back up on the Y again. You can see the model now coming through. And so this, setting it to about 40% opacity is really handy, because now you can see the model through the backside. So if you have to rotate back around for some reason, you can see both the reference image and the model at the same time. Anyway, hope that was helpful. I use this a lot. It's really a great way to use an image as a starting point to model out products or anything else that you might want to model. Enjoy.